Hi everyone, welcome to Career Launcher. This is CUET 2027 preparation. While we are doing the preparation, I will be taking you through different topics. So we are going to be doing grammar, vocabulary, reading comprehension, everything one by one. Now in today's session, of course, I'm doing vocabulary. So this is the second session of our set of classes on foreign words and phrases. So let's not waste any time. Let's get started. Okay, so we are covering foreign words, phrases today. Okay, so let's do the first one, sui generis. Sui generis means something that is very unique or in a class of its own. So something that is not very common or it is very unusual or uncommon, right? So that's sui generis, unique. All right, ceteris paribus means all other things being equal. So speed is equal to distance upon time, all other things being equal. Or if demand increases, price increases, ceteris paribus. That means all other things remaining the same, demand is directly proportional to price. Okay, so that, whatever it is, I don't know also. So that. So ceteris paribus, all other things being equal. Ex post facto means after the fact, which means applying retroactively or after the event. So something has been completed and then you go back and change it. That's said to make things or to correct things ex post facto. So let's say an assignment had to be submitted and you forgot. And once the assignment has been submitted, you go and request your teacher and she allows you to submit the document ex post facto. That means after the submission deadline is over. That's it, ex post facto. In toto means in totality or as a whole or entirely. So there are many phrases that come with in. So for example, in extremis, which means in a near death situation. In limini, which means at the limit. Okay. In camera, which means in a room. So when judgments are or cases are heard in camera, they are heard in a room, in a closed space. Okay. In flagrante delicto, to be caught in a delicate situation. Okay. So in vivo, which means inside a living organism. In vitro, which is part of in vitro fertilization or IVF, as you keep hearing it, which means in an artificial environment. In situ, which means in its original situation. So there are lots of phrases which you will use, which use the phrase in. Okay. All right, mutatis mutandis means with the necessary changes having been made. So when you have made the necessary changes, that is called mutatis mutandis. So the parliament this week passed a number of bills, including the, the cheating bill or whatever that is called, with necessary corrections. So they had brought the bill earlier, but then it didn't happen. Then they changed it. So with the necessary changes having been made, so mutatis mutandis, the law has been passed. Okay, non sequitur is something that does not necessarily follow, something that is irrelevant in that particular situation. So that is non sequitur. A statement made under oath is a testimony. Okay. A false testimony is called perjury. Okay, it's a false testimony. All right. Ipso facto is by the fact itself. Ipso, ipsa, wherever you will find, it will have something to do with, okay, fact of course is fact. So ipso facto, by the fact itself. There's another phrase which uses ipso or ipsa, which is res ipsa loquitur, which is the thing speaks for itself. That means something is its own proof. That is res ipsa loquitur. So your results speak for themselves, don't they? Whether you're a good student or a bad student. Okay, res ipsa loquitur. According to the law is de jure. Okay. Also, according to fact is de facto. So the de facto ruler of this house is me. The de jure ruler of this house is the PM. Okay, that's how. All right, modus vivendi. Modus comes from mode, which is method. Okay, and vivendi comes from viva, which is life. Okay, therefore, modus vivendi is a way of life. Okay, so it's a fixed routine of your daily life. There's another word which is called modus operandi, which is mode of operation. Okay, so this word is generally used for criminals, that the modus operandi of the thieves was such and such. So there's a movie called Dhoom. So in this, the thieves used to come in on bikes. So the modus operandi was that they were bikers. Okay. So modus operandi, mode of operation. Casus belli. The root word casus comes from cause. Okay. So that is the reason. And bellu or belly mean war. So casus belli is the reason for war or the cause of the war. So that an act that justifies war is called a casus belli. The root word post means after, and ante means, ante means before. So there is a very lovely phrase, post bellum and antebellum, which means before and after the war. Antebellum is before the war, postbellum is after the war. So that. Sine qua non is an essential condition, something that has to be done. So your presence is sine qua non. Without it, my function cannot happen. Okay, so that's an essential condition, something that has to happen. All right, let's take a look. Fair comply. Fair comply is something that is already done, presented as irreversible. So we have already sold the house. It's a fair comply. It's done. You can't change it. Once the sale has been done, you can't go back on it. So that's a fair comply. Coup de grace is a decisive final blow. The word coup means a rebellion. Okay. Now there are many types of coup. So you have the coup d'etat, which is the rebellion by the people of the country. So for example, Arab Spring was a coup d'etat, or what the Chinese attempted at Tiananmen Square, that was also a coup d'etat. Okay. When the army goes against the government, that is called a coup de force, which is the rebellion by the army or an armed rebellion. Okay. Coup de maitre. Meter, maitre, whatever, is a master stroke. So something that is so amazing that it will just defeat your enemies. Really brilliant. It is brilliant. Okay. Then you have coup de grace, which is a decisive final blow. Once and for all, you finish something. Then you have coup de foudre. Forgive me for my pronunciation. I'm really bad at this, which is love at first sight. Okay. So, so here you are, coup. There's a German parallel to it, which is push, okay, which also means coup. So in Germany, it's called a push. In France, it is called a coup. All right. Raza the etre, a reason for someone or something's existence. So a reason for my existence is my son. The raison d'etre is for me is my child. Okay, for all parents. Okay, a tour de force. So tour de force is a masterly achievement, a masterpiece, an artist. One of the greatest work of an artist is called a tour de force. Okay. All right. Carte blanche. The word carte means paper. Okay, it is card. So from there only you get card. So carte is that. Blanche means blank. So literal meaning of carte blanche is a blank paper. Okay, but how did this come about? So carte blanche is a blank check. So if you give somebody a carte blanche, what are you doing? You are actually telling them, hey, here is something, you can use it the way you want to. Okay, so that is a carte blanche. Okay, so complete freedom to do something. Okay, so the answer for this, of course, will be complete freedom to do as one wishes. Right? That is the correct answer. So you want to do something, you can do whatever you want. I am giving you carte blanche for this property. I am giving you complete freedom to do as you want with this property. So that's carte blanche. Okay, what a lovely phrase. Okay. With carte, there's another phrase which is called a la carte. A la carte is a type of meal, okay, which you order from a card or from a menu. So when you choose food from a menu, it is called a la carte. When food is laid out and you choose it, it's called a buffet. Okay. So when food is already pre-decided, here is the food, we have laid it out, now you choose, and that is called a buffet. When you choose from a cart, it is called a la carte. So from the cart, okay? So that's a very nice one, huh? Then, okay, let me also tell you one more for the food. Entree is a starter. Okay, in the USA. In France, it is the main course. In France, the starter is called the hors d'oeuvres. So in France, the starter is called the hors d'oeuvres. Okay. So that's that. All right. Cause celebre is something that is celebrated. Celebre is to talk about. So a case that attracts public attention is a cause celebre. So currently that CJP thing that was going on at Jantar Mantar and that Sonam Wangchuk, he was on a fast, right? So all of that were cause celebre, something that was being discussed again and again over a period of time. Okay, so that's cause celebre. There's another word that you should know, that is Zeitgeist. Zeitgeist is a German word which means the spirit of the times. So a particular period of time is of a particular type. Okay, so then that is called the Zeitgeist. So for example, the 70s and 80s were the times for the hardworking people, the labor, it was time of the labor union movement and so on, right? So the Zeitgeist was very much for the people, for the laborers, okay? So spirit of the time, something that is going on. All right, bête noire. Bête noire is somebody or something that you hate or dislike. Okay, bête noire, something or someone that you dislike completely. All right, pièce de résistance is the most outstanding item. The what you gonna last but not the least, we bring to you the finale, the best thing. So the best thing is the pièce de résistance. Okay. So what is the most amazing, awesome, brilliant thing? That is the pièce de résistance. All right. Nom de plume is a pen name that is used instead of one's real name. So for example, Hector Hugh Munro was called Saki. Right? So that was the pen name. Can you think of any other pen names? Do think. What is Rajiv Bhatia's pen name? What is Alia Advani's pen name? Think about these and tell me. You can put this in the chat box. All right, so nom de plume, pen name and a name that is used instead of your real name. All right, esprit de corps. Esprit comes from spirit. Is of and corps is group. So it is a feeling of unity or pride or brotherhood that is shared among the group. So when people work under a brand or under a group or under a brotherhood, then that feeling of pride is called esprit de corps, right? So for example, if you're part of the NCC or if you're part of the armed forces, if you're part of a particular battalion, right? Then that esprit de corps is just amazing. The feeling of brotherhood. We are all together. That is what esprit de corps is, correct? All right, guys, if you found this session to be helpful, do remember to hit like, share, and also subscribe to our channel and also hit the bell icon so that you're able to get notifications. If you wish to enroll at Career Launcher, you're not yet enrolled, then 8130038836 is just the right number for you to connect with us. All right, guys, I will see you next week, same time, same place, same channel, same person, same you. One more new topic. Keep practicing. Bye-bye.